Hi everybody, I'm Ryan, and today we're going to talk about the standard metagame over the course of the past week. Now, standard is slowly evolving, and let's look at the graph. As we can see, the standard metagame is still sitting with Esper Self-Bounce at the top. Sharing second place is Gruul Aggro and Golgari Midrange. In fourth place is the Dimir Self-Bounce deck, and then in fifth place is Jeskai Convoke. Please pause the video if you want to check out this graph a little bit longer, but let's talk about these decks starting with Jeskai Convoke. Jeskai Convoke is an aggro deck that attempts to put as many creature and artifact permanents on the battlefield as fast as possible, with cards like Spyglass Siren and Novice Inspector putting 2 of those permanents on the battlefield by themselves, Gleeful Demolition destroying an artifact and getting 3 creatures, and then capitalizing on having a ton of creatures by using Warden of the Inner Skies ability, convoking Knight Errant of Eos, destroying your opponent's creatures with Case of the Gateway Express, and then pumping up your creatures and jamming with Imidane's Recruiter. It's extremely explosive, and that's what this deck is focusing on, is that explosiveness more than just consistent aggro. In fourth is the Dimir Bounce deck. Now, compared to its Esper counterpart, which is the most popular deck, this deck is only playing 2 colors rather than the 3, which means the lands are dealing a lot less damage to itself, and it's a lot more consistent color-wise, but it gives up a little bit of the power that Esper has. What this deck is attempting to do is using Enter the Battlefield effects of these enchantments like Storm Chaser's Talent and Nowhere to Run, and then bouncing those cards to back to your hand with Fear of Isolation, Kaido, and This Town Ain't Big Enough to be able to replay it while also having the ability to use those extremely powerful cards and make the downside an upside. Sharing second/third is Golgari Midrange. Golgari Midrange is your 1-for-1 fair deck of standard. It ramps a little bit with Llanowar Elves, but really what this deck is attempting to do is playing creatures that are more than they are on the surface and get more value than what they actually have, like drawing cards off of Mosso Dread Knight and Preacher of the Schism, and destroying enchantments and drawing cards with Glissa, things like that, while at the same time 1-for-1ing our opponent with removal spells and hand destruction. It's fair, normal Golgari magic. Sharing that second place slot is Gruul Aggro. Gruul Aggro is the premier aggro deck of the format. It plays these aggressive creatures alongside pump spells like Innkeeper's Talent and Monstrous Rage, while capitalizing on Valiant and Mouse synergies and Heartfire Hero and Emberheart Challenger and Manifold Mouse to deal an insane amount of damage all at once, especially when we double strike one of our mouse creatures and then pump it up with Monstrous Rage. It is this consistent aggro, but also extremely explosive if your opponent ever lets their shields down. And then at the very top is Esper Bounce. Esper Bounce does similar things as the Dimir Bounce deck. However, it's able to play white cards, both for sideboard cards, but also so that they're a little bit more aggressive in the main deck, being able to play Nurturing Pixie and Optimistic Scavenger. And so it applies a little bit more pressure, but it does deal a bit more damage to themselves. So the Esper deck has to be careful compared to the Dimir deck. But that is the standard metagame. If you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Check me out on social medias. Links are above me and in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.